Energized show, up the Irish.
Okay, what's going on, guys, and welcome to a brand new episode of Energized. Ross, introduce the guest, man.
Today we have Cage Warriors champ, the Dragon, Mason Jones. Mason, how are you doing?
Well, really happy to be on. Obviously, I'm a little bit late, so I do apologize. But yeah, I'm happy for the invite and really happy for the interview.
You don't have to worry, Mason. This isn't live, so as far as anyone else is concerned, they're not live. You just ratted yourself out, but that's fine. We appreciate it.
Cool.
We appreciate it. But Mason, like you've had such a incredible career. Obviously, you're hailing from Wales. You're over with Team Alpha Male at the moment. You were the second person to become champ after Conor McGregor. I think we because you're third time. Sorry, excuse me. Because this is your first time on the show. We'd like to sort of get into that when you became champ and then signed with the UFC. What was that feeling like? Because I remember I saw you were there celebrating with your girlfriend Madison and all. It was a whole thing, and then the emotion that came out of your face after was just unbelievable. That's why we love this sport.
Yeah. So Dan Hardy was first, then Conor McGregor. Obviously, Conor McGregor was the big famous one, champ. When Dan did it, it was slightly different weight groups, but they still counted. And then I was third. And the emotion is just hard to explain. For me, when I won the lightweight title, it didn't really mean too much, as weird as it sounds. Mainly because I always knew I was going to win the lightweight title. Like my whole plan leading up to the UFC and where I am now was always to win the lightweight title, and it was always to go on and then sign the UFC. So when I ended up fighting for the welterweight title, it was something that was unexpected, and it was an opportunity that sort of fell in my lap. I'm not a welterweight. I'm just sort of starting to fit into that lightweight slot. So for me, that welterweight shot was just something that, like I said, circumstances fell into place. There was no one really at lightweight, and I liked the matchup versus Proctor, so I really wanted that fight. And then I always knew I could knock him out, but to TKO him in 1 round is just a completely different scenario than what I expected. So that one meant a lot. And then after that fight, the UFC was just cutting people. They weren't really interested in signing anyone, and I didn't want to fight in Cage Warriors again. Like I really wanted to fight in the UFC, and then for when it come around, it just all worked in my favor. So yeah, the feeling when that welterweight title was just something else, and then getting signed was just a big breath, a relief more than anything else, because it was something again that I always knew I was going to do and always wanted to do, but I've been ticking all the boxes and doing everything I knew to be correct to get signed, and I still hadn't been signed, and it was just sort of like I didn't want to miss punch my ticket. Do you know what I mean? So it was, it was a big relief to get signed. And then obviously,
what more do they want you to do? Champ in Cage Warriors, which is like the number one European feeder league into the UFC.
Yeah.
There's nothing more you could do. And I actually remember seeing when you got signed, I think, were you doing an Apex fight where photo shoot at the time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the video.
Yeah, Graham asked me if I wanted to come down. The Apex shoot, they said they'd cover my expenses and chuck me some money to do it. So I was like, yeah, super happy to do it. And then you literally just found out I'd been signed a few days before, so it worked out good. So
he was holding in for a few days.
I know, he done it, you know what Graham's like, he's used to it now. So I remember we was doing the photo shoot, and he was like, oh, have you brought your belts? And I was like, yeah, they're over there. And he's like, oh, we need them for a few days. And I was like, oh, well, like, when can I have him back? And he was like, well, never. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, oh, you've just been signed to the UFC. And I was like, you bastard.
If I knew that, I wouldn't have brought the belts.
I know. That's exactly what I think. That's why he tied me in at that point. That's probably why you didn't tell me earlier.
We're about massive fans of Cage Warriors, and that's the thing. Like when people yourself or even Reese or else Ian, when they leave, then it's you're a bit like you're looking forward to the next batch of talent, but like you're sort of like you follow these guys and then they move on. You know, I love Cage Warriors, to be honest. I love it.
Yeah, it's like such a happy yet sad moment.
Yeah,
because like you know what I mean. Like you look forward so much to seeing the guys on the regional scene, and then like they're gone, but you know they're on to do bigger, and better things. And then go on.
Well, I know Reese is back fighting again soon. Obviously, he's had a bit of a layoff since UFC. with COVID, different thing. But I know he's got a date. I don't know if it's been released yet, but I know he's going to be back fighting soon. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him back out. I went up to Ireland and trained with Reese, and yeah, he's very, very good. I actually invited him out here because I know he's still got his. I'm sure he's still got his visa.
Yeah,
pretty sure. So I invited him back out here and asked if you want to come train, and I'm gonna get a place out here next year. So the invite's always there for him when he does. But yeah, I love training Reese, and I really do hope he does well. Like he didn't deserve to be cut, but sometimes the UFC just do wild things.
Yeah, life's all about timing, so like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you got a very rough rap. Like Kazmat on 6 days notice, followed by Alex Morono, who I think he might be ranked in the top 15 now, but I think he retired Cowboy as well, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, no, Cowboy's going for one more fight. I think he still wants to go. I'm hoping they'll fight Cowboy after this fight. I love
as they always say.
He wants to go. Yeah, he's coming back on the lightweight though, so I don't know how many he'd have. But yeah, I don't think Cowboy would fight me. But I can always ask politely.
I'm not gonna lie, for anyone who hasn't seen Mason Jones fight, if I was to describe something he was like, I'd be like, he's the Welsh version of Justin Gaethje. He is a human highlight reel, also, and no better way to sort of cap off your UFC debut. Now I know you didn't get the nod in the judges' scorecard, but that fight against Mike Davis was something else.
That was that could have been fight of the year. That could have been fight of the year, mate.
Terrible fight for me. Terrible fight. I felt so bad. Even literally, we were warming up in the change rooms, and I said to my coaches, I was like, "Oh, I just feel like shit." And he was like, "Come on, we'll just warm up through it." So we warmed up, and my legs were completely jacked. I just struggled to move, and I just felt terrible. So I was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna have to do what we got to do to win." And I think that fight as a learning experience is just phenomenal. Like I learned what exactly not to do with about 4 different things I'd done wrong. And when we reviewed it, if I tidied one of those things up leading in that fight, it was that close. I really could have won that fight, but I didn't think I did, and I didn't think I did enough. So we tidied it up, and my next fight I went in and I felt so good. I felt so good in that last fight, and I felt like I was still warming up. Like my debut, I felt like I was stuck at about 30-40%, like that was the most I could do. That last fight felt like I was at 40%, and I still had so much to go, and I felt like I had like more gears I could change into, and I was just taking my time and working him through. And like when we sort of moved back to standing, I was happy enough for it to come back up because I knew I could feel the finish come in, and I knew as soon as I started chaining combos up, I knew he was going to go. And then obviously the eye poke come across, and he just found a way out. And yeah, he was broken. I split his left eye with a head kick, and then every time I was elbowing him, I was trying to force the cut open, and I was just trying to I beat him quite bad in the first round, and the second was going the same way. And like it was 18 seconds away from a decision. If it'd gone 18 seconds longer, they would have given me the win. So it is what it is. Like my first 2 fights, I've learned 100 ways how not to fight in the UFC. So my next one's going to be the way the way I'm going to fight moving forward.
Yeah. And that's why we have you on, Mason. Mason Jones is taking on Alan Patrick for the second time on the UFC Fight Night, Saturday, October 23rd. It's going to be headlined by Marvin Vettori and Paulo Costa.
Mason, were you actually surprised that Alan Patrick actually accepted this rematch? Because the first one was definitely not going his way. You really were beating him pillar to post. And, you know, I mean, I think you were probably 10 seconds away from finishing 2 or 3 times throughout the fight.
Well, the first round I thought I was going to finish, and I just couldn't secure it. Like he just managed to defend himself a few times, and I messed up a few times in scrambling where I should have kept him pinned and really finished it off. Because that's the way to look at it. Like it's never that he does the right things. It's always I do the wrong things, and that's the way I always look at things. And I was close, and that's the way it's going to go next time. I think the finish is going to come a bit quicker, but I'm definitely going to finish him. As to him accepting it, I think the first time he really underestimated me. I think he come in, I don't think he was fully fit, and I don't think he sort of expected me to be as strong as I was. So this next fight, I just see him coming in stronger and fitter, but it's just going to go the same way. I'm just going to rain some strikes down, and I'm going to get a finish.
And what way are you looking at this fight camp now? Because obviously you feel like you have the better of him, and I feel like you're going to just improve. But like, what is it exactly you're going to like sit down with the team with and concentrate on?
to be fair, we haven't really changed anything. I haven't been able to see much of my team this time. Obviously, even less than last time because of COVID restrictions. But we literally just doing the same thing. I'm working with some of my training partners out here, one or two of the coaches, and it's literally just working my wrestling defense, working my striking, and working my footwork. And that's the way it's going to go. I didn't expect to do so much jiu-jitsu last time. I didn't expect in the actual fight. I didn't expect to take him down. You just sometimes when things come around, you just change it up on the move. And he was weaker than I expected in the wrestling exchanges. Like I trained with Chris Gonzalez, who's world level wrestling, and he was so much stronger than Alan Patrick in the fight. Like stuff we done in training that I expected the fight to go like, it was just completely different. Like I got in there, he looked big, he looked strong, and he felt like a kitten. So I expect him to be stronger, I expect him to be fitter, but I expect him to also go to sleep a lot quicker.
Yeah, Mason, I think you sort of touched on it there that for anyone who doesn't know, you made the move out to Sacramento. I'm surprised you're not wearing a Sacramento Kings jersey on today. But tell us this, what brought the move out to Team Alpha Male?
So I'm still using my same coaches. It's just the sparring partners. Like I was just struggling so much back home with sparring partners, especially with COVID and people will work. And then a few of the training partners sort of struggling because work was being restrictive about when they could come and different things. And I was just making stupid mistakes. Like my coaches trust me to train hard, but then I wasn't getting that sort of push you need. So then like even when we was drilling, I was just drilling wrong. Like everything was sort of relaxed and lenient. We're out here, people really pick me up on things. I'll do something and they'll be like, look, you need to do it this way. And my training partner is the same. Like the guys I'm training with out here, like I said, Chris Gonzalez, Mike Malott, Andre Feely, Max Griffin, Clay Guida. I really helped Clay this camp, Darren Elkins. This phenomenal level people here. And the sparring guy is just next level. But even when we're drilling, like everyone's always trying to help me and I really appreciate it. And I love getting told I'm doing something wrong, which is such a weird mentality, but I've always been the same because if someone picks me up on doing something wrong, even if I don't agree, they'll just show a different view. But that's
actually so important as well, Mason. That's so important as well. There's no one just like feeding your ego. Like, I mean, you're better off being told there's problems. We me and Ross do it all the time, but it's just like, yeah, it has to be done. As much as people probably don't want to say it, they're probably your best friend. It's just like if you don't get told that properly, it could hurt you in the back end, you know?
Mate, I'm arrogant. I've always been arrogant, and I've done this long enough to deserve the arrogance I've got. I'll never struggle for confidence. Like I'm happy to fight. I'm happy to fight anytime. Like I've always said this. Like I'm as happy to fight after an 8-week camp as I am going down the shot. I'm always ready. That's the way it is. Like I'll walk in, do a title fight on 7 days notice, no problem, no questions asked, whether I'm fully fit or not. Like I know I can always secure that win. I've really started sort of trying to stay a bit fitter in when you're outside camp. I don't really believe in going too off diet, and I try and stay on target and on task. We just let my cardio slide a little bit, but you've just got to be ready no matter when, no matter what comes up, because opportunity presents itself. You've got to be ready to take it. And I've been pushing for a fight. I want to fight in September. September didn't come around. I was pushing for any time around them. I even said originally I'd fight in August, but they wanted to look at September. September didn't come. They offered October, which again, all it means is I get an extra 10 weeks prep. So I'm ready to go now. And by the time October 23rd comes around, I'm going to be in peak condition.
Yeah, because that's what I was going to ask. Because obviously, next weekend's card, obviously Darren Till London against Brunson, it was a very great British heavy card. So I would have thought you would have been on that. But now that you're probably getting, So that's So by not being on that, you could be lost in the sauce. Whereas if you're on this card, it's not very heavy with the GB. So more people might tune in and just be focused on you. So it could turn out the right way.
Mason Jones fight, it don't matter where I am on the card. People will tune in to watch, and even if they want, they'll see the replays when I batter someone. So it's always the same. You've like I said, you've got to be this confident, and I believe I can knock out anyone. Like I'll fight anyone. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what gym they're from. It doesn't matter what they've done before, what their accolades are. I just see weaknesses in people, and all people are just different, fresh targets. That's all they are. And I'll fight anyone. I'll fight anyone on any time. And it just doesn't matter. You're
just ready to go.
We saw that when Mason fought Proctor. He was about 6'4" in the cage there fighting him. I was like, Jesus Christ,
he's 92 kilos. I remember when he grabbed hold of me. And I was like, oh, this isn't good. But we'd set up a plan, which is anytime he comes to the wrestling exchanges and he gets in deep, give the back, head towards the cage, plant your head in the column, and throw some elbows back and start peeling the hands. And because he's that strong, like when he shot in, it wasn't so much about getting underneath him as he was just going to go through me. So I timed it well. I defended well. He got on my hips quicker than I expected. The defense went perfect. If he literally just held on my back, it would have been a different fight. But I'd caught him with that many shots, and I'd already dropped him with the screw shot that he just wanted to get some revenge. And he took one hand off the strike and let me back in a fight. And then obviously the TKO comes soon after.
I suppose that goes to show your humbleness as well. That like you were like, you know, this guy's massive and he's going to be able to take me down if he gets hold of me. So like you already like foresaw that happening and then had the technique to defend it.
Well, again, like I'd already been out to Team Alpha Male multiple times and training with some of the best wrestlers in the world. And like I know even with these guys, when they take me down, I can get back to my feet. Like I'm good at working back to my feet. And like I watched Adam's fight and he was just so casual when they hit the ground. And this is why I knew he'd never make the UFC because he just takes people to town and he's happy just to stall out a fight. And the UFC doesn't want that. The UFC wants finishers. Like the card on the weekend, the whole prelim card was finishes. Half the main event, the main card was finishes. Like I think the only two that didn't finish was the main event and one of the fights on the main card. So on Clay's. Like the rest of them was all TKOs and submissions. Like there's 4 performance of the night performances. Like that is what the UFC's turning into, which is dynamite fighters with dynamite finishes. And if you can't finish and you can't have an exciting fight, then you just don't deserve to be in it.
And what did you make of Clay's fight over the weekend?
Obviously, I was gutted for Clay. I seen how hard he worked. I think he did well. I just think that third round was the decisive round, and I think he just let it slip through his fingers a little bit. I think he thought he was 2 rounds up, and again, the first round could have gone either way. I definitely think he won the second. I thought he won the first, but again, you've got that when you're watching your friends fight, you see some stuff that sort of other people don't see. And when they was given the significant fight counts, the significant strike counts, I just didn't see where they was getting those numbers from. It must have been the ponytail. I think every time he was getting jabbed, the ponytail was flopping around. But yeah, I just think he let the fight slide a bit through his fingers. He just deserved the win. But I don't know. I would have given it to Clay 29-28. But I can understand if they give it to Madsen 29-28 on the first and the third. But I can't see where someone giving 30-27. Like I just can't see that happening. Like the second round was a one-sided event.
Yeah, I do think Clay has put out a sort of blueprint to beat Madsen now, because like that, like sort of, I suppose Clay Guida never stops moving in any of his fights, and he is a bit of a madman. But he is really actually, I think, since his move to Team Alpha Male, because he's notorious for like traveling around the country on a tour bus and going wherever he wants. But I think since he's moved his game to Team Alpha Male, he's become a bit more strategic, and there's that little bit less chaos to him. So I think Clay Guida will always be a fan favorite. I think he's got over 50 professional fights as well. So like
Hall of Famer as well.
He
Hall
is
of Famer fight. What was it? His fight against Diego Sanchez. It's in the Hall of Fame.
Diego Sanchez. Yeah.
And I'm sure
classic.
I'm sure he'll get into the Hall of Fame himself as just an absolute hero of the sport.
Yeah, Mason.
The big statements that I seen in that fight was Madsen shot him for 7 takedowns and Clay stopped 7 takedowns. And considering he's supposed to be an Olympic silver medalist and Olympian in wrestling, like Clay stopped every single one of his takedowns. Like I don't think it was one full takedown in that fight.
Yeah, I think a lot of the times with those Olympic wrestlers, you know what I mean, it's a different sport to just wrestling someone as it is when someone's punching in the face as you're trying to wrestle. And Clay Guida did a perfectly good job of,
he managed the distance well.
Yeah, he managed the distance well, and he gave him the fear, or what's called, by putting hands on him as well. That the shot is a bit further away, and like for every inch further away someone has to shoot on you, the chances of them getting the takedown are that bit less.
Yeah, I love the Madsen fight. I think I can knock him out in 2 rounds. I really do think I could.
So you retweeted that as well.
I've said that since his fight. The last fight, which was a long time ago. Obviously, he had a big layout. The Austin fight, where Austin took it on short notice, and Madsen took him down and 10-8'd him in the first round, and then the second and third really started to go the opposite way. He just blew his load in the first, and the second and third, Austin sort of let the fight slip through his fingers. Austin really should have finished him. But to be fair, like I said, I think I could beat anyone. There's blueprints to beat anyone in the UFC roster on this planet. You just gotta be smart and stick to a good game plan. And that's easier said than done. Like I said, I had a good game plan for my debut, and I completely went out the window because of circumstances. But I still didn't react, just did the same thing. And you can't be a stupid fighter in the UFC. You have to be smart and you have to be clinical. And again, I'm learning.
Yeah, you're only just learning. But what's the most important thing, like living out there now, obviously with Team Alpha Male, like being away from your family? Does it make you sort of be like, I'll see you later, I'm coming back like with a win? Like, what sort of mentality are you going over there with? Like, is it just pure samurai?
So I've been here since March. I went home for 10 days, I think it was 9 days, something like that. Oh yeah, 9-10 days in between. Then I've been back over here, so I've pretty much been here since March, apart from that 10-day window. For me, like, I don't really miss the family too much. They used to me going away. I spent 3 months in Brazil when I was 18. Spent training camps in different places. I've spent in camps in London, different places. So they used to me being away. They've actually been on holiday anyway. So we were FaceTiming and speaking to, obviously, I was meant to fly home August the 23rd to fight on a London card on September 4th. That's what I targeted when I come out this camp. That's what I thought was going to happen. So when they booked me in for October, I had to cancel my my return flight home, and they were a little bit gutted. But my girlfriend's the big thing. Obviously, we haven't seen each other. We've been together 4 years, and she actually quit a job to be able to travel out here. And then rather than opening the borders up, Biden locked the borders back down. So that's the hardest thing, really, is being without my girlfriend for that long. But to be fair, like, I'm in contact with my coaches back home. I speak to her every day. I speak to my family every few days. Like I said, they're used to it now, but it's good. Moving forwards, what I really want to do is I want to bring my coaches out here for camps. I'm going to get a place out here next year and be out here a lot more. Just in my off season, and then when I have camps coming up, I'm really going to bring my coaches out just so I've got sort of more hands-on and more personal views on things. So like just having someone focusing on nothing but you is the difference in Team Alpha. Like would be the difference between back home and in Team Alpha Male, because Team Alpha Male, you look at the big names there, and you look at the guys from Bellator, UFC, One. And some names that come through that they're brilliant, but there's only a certain amount of coaches to give their sort of their personal sort of perceptions on what they're doing. So for me, I just if I bring my coaches out here, I think it's the perfect camp for me at this stage of my career.
Yeah, well, one thing I will say, Mason, every time you fight, you're a shoe-in for a performance bonus. Get a few more of those, and you'll have that house, no problem.
Yeah. Well, 100%. This next fight's going to be a performance bonus, definitely, and it's definitely going to be a performance of my career so far. I'm going to go out there, and there's not going to be any prisoners this time. It's just going to be straight finishing. So I'm going to be clean. I'm going to be clinical, and I'm not going to rush, but the finish is definitely going to come.
You've mentioned a couple of times you're looking at beyond this year. Like, is it like what else are you sort of looking at in 2022?
So I've got two sort of mindsets on this. I always look to the future, and I always do long-term sort of goals. I always goal cast for long-term, mid-term, and you always look at the future and like stuff. And those are like big tier fights. And like eventually, I am going to fight for my UFC lightweight title, but that's a few years in the future. At the moment, I'm just focusing on Alan Patrick. And short-term, there's nothing further than October 23rd. I'll never look further than that. I'll never look over Alan Patrick. And like the amount of people who messaged me and was like, "Oh, you've got this easy. You're going to get a good finish." And I just disagreed. Like, I think this is going to be a tough fight. I thought it the first time. And I think even more this side. Like, I'm going into this fight with the mentality of Alan underestimated me in that first fight. And this time he's going to be stronger and fitter. But this time I am going to retire him. I'm not looking to finish him like I'm looking to end his career. I'm going to finish him that badly that he does retire. After the last thing, the last fight really irritated me, more so because he was celebrating after the fight in the medical rooms. He was happy with a no contest because we both know I was going to finish soon. And like, I don't have that mindset. Like, I'll go out in the shield every single time, and I won't take an easy way out. So he's just looking at 2 paychecks, whereas I'm looking at, like I said, sending him home and retiring him.
One thing I also sort of want to touch on is obviously being out in Team Alpha Male, like they're notoriously known for their grappling and their guillotine choke as well. What is like the best sort of skill that you've improved since you moved out there? Like, is it probably your wrestling, would you say?
Yeah, definitely. There's high level strikers here like Andre Feely and stuff who've really helped with my striking, helping me mold my striking to work to my game plan. But like I come out here for the wrestling. Like I said, back home I just don't get that wrestling experience out here. And out here is like it sounds stupid, but out here, like all I was ever taught back home was if someone shoots you, sprawl. Out here they were told about your head level, beating the level, defending with the hands, then defending with the elbows, then defending the hips. So rather than sprawl, like sprawl is like the third defense back. And a lot of the time, like they'll say against high level wrestlers, if you're trying to sprawl on someone, it's already too late, and it's all about like peeling them down and peeling them off your hips. And it's just back home, you just don't get that. And I've seen a few British fights back home that I know that have really been caught out in their fights because they're still using that British defense of just sprawling. And like when you do that, you're in that gunslinger turf where it's whoever's got the fastest hands or the fastest hips in this case is going to win. But against high level D1 wrestlers, you sprawl on them and they don't care. They power through anyway. They'll just reshoot until they get something. And that's what I've learned best. That like the wrestling is completely different, and my wrestling's gone through worlds different. That last fight, the level change in defense I was using in that fight was something that I actually started drilling about 3 weeks before. I just drilled 3 weeks worth of it with Danny Castillo, the wrestling coach out here, and worked with my wrestling training partners out here, and it completely ended that fight. Like that was the big differentiate in the big difference in that fight. So for me, being out there just takes my game to the next level at this stage of my career. And I'll always say that because you never know what's going to change. Moving forwards, I do want to do a more roving camp, which would be if I end up fighting in different time zones, then I move my camp out there and I bring some sparring partners with me. But those are plans for the future and plans for when I actually get paid and actually get some money in the bank.
Well, shout out to Danny Castillo, WEC and UFC vet. Another person I want to ask about is what's it like to have your Welsh compatriot Corey Mckenna out there?
Good. She's probably one of the only people who understands I speak about 99% of the time. Andre Feely is one of the funniest for telling me to speak American over and over again. The bastard. But I have learned to speak slower and open my mouth more because, like they say out here, I speak like I got jam in my mouth. But I need to pronunciate more. But I'm getting there. But yeah, it's good to have Corey out here, and I'm really looking forward to her next fight, whenever it's going to be.
Yeah. Also, the last question, just about the camps here. What's the thing you have that both teams have in common, like Team Alpha Male and your team back in Wales? What's the one thing that they both like have exactly in common?
Champion mindsets. Out here, they both do the same mentality sort of things with visualization exercises, and they're always pushing for that best in the world slot. Like
is that what you thought you fit in well there?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, everyone out here knows that they've got the ability to be world champions. Everyone in the gym is willing to do whatever it takes to improve. And it was the same with my coaches back home. My coaches have 100% belief in me, and they have 100% belief in my ability. And everything we do out here is working towards what's best for me. And out here, it helps that everyone else wants to do the same thing. So you can help each other and sort of stay selfish at the same time.
That's a great way to be. Mason, we obviously can't let you go without asking you what you make of the UFC lightweight division at the moment as well.
Oh, the shark pit.
Yeah, well, like it's a bit up in the air as well at the moment because like Poirier might hang on for McGregor fourth fight. Will he fight for the world title? Who gets in there next with him? What way do you sort of see it? Give us the Mason Jones breakdown.
So Poirier will fight for the lightweight world title in December. Apparently it's already being discussed. It's already been scheduled for December. Poirier versus Oliveira.
Yeah. Okay.
But like it is up in the air, but the lightweight division is the toughest division in the UFC, just from volume. Like the knockout of the night from Saturday nights was the two lightweights going at it, and whenever you see lightweights fight, it's always an explosive fight, and it is the toughest division. I don't care what people say. I don't care if it's supposed to be sort of, if I'm a little bit sort of biased in my opinion, but the lightweight division is the toughest division. It's the deepest division. Like, you've got sharks all the way through. You've got unranked people who are coming through who are beasts. You've got people in there who are ranked who are beasts. And I'm happy to just like I said, to beat whoever's in front of me and keep doing it until I earn my way towards that top 15. Because that's my goal at the moment, is just to make it to the top 15. And whether it takes me a year or two, that's what I'm going to do.
Tell us this, right? Because obviously you're probably going to have 2 or 3 more fights before you get like into the sort of top 5 of the division, we'll say, right? By the end of 2022, who holds the UFC lightweight belt?
Oh, end of 2022? I don't know, to be fair, because Oliveira, I didn't think he beat Chandler at the time. Like, I did say that I expected it to be a tough fight, but I still expected Chandler to win. And then for him to beat Chandler the way he did, because he was dominant. Like, I know Chandler had like 3 minutes of fame where he really, really dominated in that first round. But Oliveira just weathered the storm and come back out. So I really don't know. I think at the end of this year, I think Poirier beats Oliveira. And then next year, it can all change. It really, really can, because there's a couple of the Russians coming through who are beasts.
Islam Makhachev
in the division. Yeah. Islam's definitely up there. I do think they imitate Habib too much, but Islam is a beast in his own right. So these are all names I look towards, and I like to look at these fights and sort of try and plan ways to beat them. But for me at the moment, like I said, all that's important is beating Alan Patrick and then beating whoever comes next. Whether that's someone who's ranked, whether it's someone who's not ranked, I don't care. I don't care if they pull someone from an LFA or if they pull someone from whoever to fight. All that matters is beating whoever's in front of me and beating them in fashion, and that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, we had to ask you, but also like Charles Oliveira being champ in your division, that must give you some inspiration as well. Like, knowing that he's been all over the place, had wins, losses, and now he's like at the very, very top. Like, that must give yourself some inspiration.
Oh yeah, definitely. But then, like I said, I'm arrogant anyway, so I'm not going to. So all I see in these people is targets. Like, I don't see inspiration. I don't see anything that they do better than I can do. All I see is targets. Like beg, borrow, and steal. That's the mentality I was brought up in the gym on, which is you find whatever technique works and you make it your own. And that's what I've done with my game plan all the way through. And it's just refining and just taking it to that next level. Do you know what I mean? Just rising to be that next version of myself. So this, like I said, this next fight's going to be a career best, and we're just going to keep going, taking over, holding it through.
Yeah, amazing. Last one from you, Ross. Right? For the people on YouTube, can you tell us who was in the background as well, just so people will, if they give out for us not asking.
So this is Chris Gonzalez. So Chris obviously is Bellator 155er who was on a tear. Chris is the man. So Chris has Chris
got a fight lined up there as well. You want to mention?
No, he's actually just come off a fight. He fought on a Bellator card not long ago against Guida Yamaguchi. Yamauchi, who was the Bellator number 5. So he had a tough fight, to be fair. It was a good fight. But Chris is going to be something special too. I can see him really pushing up that number 1 slot in Bellator.
Shout out, Chris.
Oh, look at that! Shout out, Chris. Gives you the old pat on the back. What
Mason, last thing for me is, but like when I saw you going and making your debut, obviously the Cage Warriors, when you won the became champ. But in your debut, I know you came off with a loss, but the die attitude you had, and you just kept going. I was like, this is you deserve to be there, and it was just like, I know you didn't get the W at the end of the night, but like sometimes when you lose, you can still win, and that definitely happened to you. Ross, anything else to say before we wrap things up?
I just have one question. Obviously, you're going to fly some guys over from Wales to Cornea come fight night, but Will any of the Team Alpha Male guys be in your corner come fight night?
Nah, not at the moment. I think the only way it'd work out is when I fight for a title and I have a fourth man slot, I pull one of them in. Like I said, sort of the camp's not perfect at the moment. Like I don't really spend much time training with my guys back home. I'm actually waiting for some sponsorship to come through. When it does, the first thing I'm going to do is fight one or two of my coaches out. My boxing coach, especially, I think my sort of my old judo coach is going to come out as well, who corners me, Craig Ewers. So shout out to Lyndon James and Craig Ewers. They've cornered me for a long time. So I'm hoping to fly those guys out. They've both been in different games a long time. Lyndon actually just had his first Olympic champion. So he one of the coaches in Pontypool, and Lauren Price just won the Olympic gold. So she come from the Pontypool gym. So yeah, shout out to them. Like I said, I've got high level coaching back home. I just could do with pulling them out to watch some of my camp. So I'm hoping to get them out here for about 3 weeks before I fight. But you know, if it's the last 2 weeks, then that's what we'll do.
I absolutely love it, Mason. We're wishing you all the best. We'll be definitely cheering you on. I think you're an absolute phenom. We followed you from your Cage Warrior days, and we're just like, he's never in a boring fight. He always brings it. He's got knockout power in both hands and in the L feet too. You're definitely one to watch out for. And in terms of the European scene, it doesn't get much better than the Cage Warriors double champ, Mason the Dragon Jones.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, make sure not to miss Mason Jones
boys.
versus Alan Patrick on UFC Fight Night, Saturday, October 23rd.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and again, thanks for having me on. Thanks for the nice things you've been saying. Like I said, feed the ego, eat the ego. You know what I mean? But yeah, I appreciate you having me on, and yeah, I won't take any more of your time. So you guys have a good night, and yeah, after this fight, definitely be up for doing another one. So I appreciate you guys.
Brilliant.
No
so
worries.
if you are new, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and as always, stay energized.
Energized show, up the Irish. Been sussing you guys a couple of times. I've seen a couple of clips. I think you've done some interviews with Dylan Moran and that I saw. So keep going, keep up the good work, guys.